Hey everybody, JJ here. Bull to the bust. It is January 9th, and we're going to talk about the retail apocalypse today. And we're going to go through a lot of information here. We'll try to do it as quickly as possible, but try to figure out if this is going to be worse than 2019. And the answer is 2020 is on pace to be worse than 2019 as far as the number of store closures. On pace to be far worse than 2019. In fact, we're going to talk about the store closures and we're going to tie it in with the broader economy. Is this a signal of an economic downturn? Or does all of this mean absolutely nothing because everybody's just going over to online sales and Amazon and e-commerce? And with the record holiday spending just last year, at the end of 2019, the consumer is still going strong. Well, let's get started. We're going to start off here with some of the bigger layoffs and store closures, and we start here with Hallmark Cards, and they're planning to cut nearly 400 jobs, and we've already seen some Hallmark locations close down. Now this doesn't surprise me at all because you can get cards at the Dollar Tree. I think they're actually 2 for $1. Right? Does anyone actually buy cards that cost more than what you can pay at the Dollar Tree? I'm not sure about that. Right? Unless you want one of those, I guess one of those fancy cards that talk where you open it up and it plays a music or says something. But I don't buy those personally because really, I mean, do you really ever go back and listen to the song or listen to the card in the future? You know, pretty much no, I guess the answer would be you listen to it the day that you open it or the day that you get a gift with the card, maybe your birthday or something. But I doubt anybody really ever goes back. Maybe some do. But the point is, are you going to pay more than $1 for something that people are just going to look at one time and probably end up throwing away, right? So what do you think about that? Please let me know down below in comments. Now we're going to talk about more layoffs in a minute, but let's talk about store closures. And so far in 2020, just a few weeks in here, well, not even 2 weeks in, there has already been an announcement of 1,700 store closures. Now the end of 2019, it was only 9,300. I shouldn't say only because 2019 was a record-breaking year. But the point is we're on pace to drastically smash the record from the 2019 numbers. So here's the report that came out at the end of 2019. So 9,300 from last year. And back to this 2020 number here. Just think if we continue at this pace, 2020 is going to be basically a bloodbath for retail once again, and it could smash the 2019 records if things continue at this pace, and we'll talk about a little bit later about why it may or may not continue. I actually think it will continue, and we'll talk about that in a minute here. Next up we have Pier 1 Imports. They are announcing 450 store closures, and that amounts to about half of their locations all over the country. And they have cited lagging sales and excessive holdings for this decision. The next major retailer on the list is Bed Bath & Beyond. It looks like they went beyond their budget because they plan to close 60 stores here in 2020. Now to put that into perspective, the entire year of 2019, they only closed 19 locations. So again, things looking beyond bad for Bed Bath & Beyond. Next up is MACYS. They're a big anchor store at many shopping malls, and they're closing 28 stores so far in 2020. I should say that's what's been announced so far in 2020. This article goes on to talk about one here in California, but if you look at the sub-headline here, 28 store closures total. Okay, other notable store closures in 2020 are going to be Gap with over 230 stores, WALGREENS, another 200 stores, Olympia Sports, 76 stores. Patriots not doing so good this year. Guess they are in the playoffs. I don't really follow it too closely. But from what I see, they lost to some bad teams recently. But maybe everyone's just buying their jerseys from Amazon and online commerce and e-commerce. Now, how big is e-commerce compared to brick and mortar retail as far as an overall percentage of sales? Well, let's go back starting here. This is Statistica.com, In 2010, it was just 4.2%. And we're going to scroll down here to the bottom and go next. 2013, it was 5.8%. 2016, second quarter, 8%. Fast forward third quarter 2019, the most recent update, 11.2%. So it does continue to grow. So that should explain some of the shift from brick and mortar over to e-commerce and Amazon, and that also includes the brick and mortar stores that have e-commerce or websites. For example, Walmart.com. Of course, you have eBay, websites like Wayfair, and all the store websites that go along with it, Nike and you name it. So if the e-commerce market share is just increasing 1 or 2% per year, which seems to be about the pace, why are retail closures happening at a faster pace, more than just 1 or 2% increase per year? Okay, the short answer on that is debt. People have a lot of debt on average. Not everyone, but we've said it a few times here. The average American, about 70%, I shouldn't say the average, but about 70% of U.S. consumers have less than $1,000 in savings. Most people living paycheck to paycheck. People are looking to save money. That's the bottom line. It doesn't mean that they're not spending, though. If the banks are going to keep credit lines available and keep increasing credit lines, as what's been happening, then people will continue to spend. They'll continue to take on more and more debt. And think about this. Even if there's a big surge in defaults and bankruptcies, and let's say you have billions in write-offs, the Fed can just come in and re-liquefy these banks and keep this going for who knows how long. Some people say they can do it to infinity because it's simply digits on a screen. They just type it up, re-liquefy the banks lend. Even consumers that file bankruptcy go out and get more credit cards just a few months later and run up those credit cards. You see, once you take the risk away from the banks, then no one can tell you exactly how long this can continue, and they could hold off recession for as long as they want to, in my opinion, just based on how the banking system actually works. Now, will they let that happen? Well, I think you know my opinion on that. I don't think they're going to let that happen. Maybe you can tell us down in the comments if you have insight on yes, they will let it happen, or no, they won't let it happen. Tell us what your inside scoop is. Are they going to raise interest rates? Are they going to stop the bank rescue operation? Right, we're talking about the Fed here. But if they do keep lending and people keep spending, you're likely going to see e-commerce continue to increase year after year as companies look to make a bigger profit and as consumers look to get a better deal on the items that they're purchasing. A couple things to look out for in 2020. We've got likely higher postage costs coming in about mid-year 2020 because of an international trade regulation that's going to be rolled back, allowing the U.S. to charge higher postage rates for some shipments from foreign countries. We're not talking about imports. We're talking about just the mailed items and what the post office has been charging. I think we talked about that maybe a week or two ago. So that is about all for this update. Please let me know what you think about all this down in comments. We'll try to get these links out today. I'm not sure if I'll have time to post these, but if you look down in the pinned comment or description, you usually see a link over to our homepage. It's going to look something like this, and it's going to have the video with all the links under it. I'm actually at work right now, so I'm not sure if I'll have time to do that. You'll also see tons of links on the left. We've been updating these, adding new links every week, and just a ton of links. I'd say hundreds of links now if you look to the left-hand column over at the home page. So please follow us over on Twitter. You'll see a link down below and at the home page Twitter here. There's also a link to help us out if you want to help the channel and you like to stack gold or silver bars. We've got a link here to our affiliate over at SD Bullion, and I've outlined a few of my favorite silver bars here. You could also buy gold bars in very, very small amounts down to the gram. That way you're only spending whatever it is now, $50 or $60 for a gram versus going out and buying a whole ounce, which will cost you around $1,500 now. So I like to buy it in grams. Maybe buy yourself a 2.5 gram bar, maybe a few silver bars at about $19, $18. Got to check the spot price today, but it does help the channel if you want to. Link down below as well. Thank you for watching and for all your support. And again, I'd like to hear from you down in the comments. Do these store closures signal something big and bad coming in 2020, or is this just a continuation of the movement over to e-commerce with companies trying to cut costs and consumers, which a lot of them trapped under debt, are just trying to get a better deal? Thanks everybody. Bye for now.